All right, so welcome to tonight's live. So I am super excited to be building this with you guys, and I just want to make sure that the live stream is happening without a problem. And
Live,
let me turn that down. Perfect. So it's probably going to take me a minute. So I do want to, just wait. I know a couple of people were just hopping on to have a look at this. All right. So building my Just Close mailer tonight. Really excited. If you have questions, if you can hear me, if the sound is good, type it in. Let me know. And I'm going to walk you guys through it. If you're jumping on in the middle of it, don't worry. There's enough of catching up to do. So I am going to go ahead and I start out in Canva. Okay, so when I built my just listed, just sold, most of them I will be building in Canva. So canva.com is 100% free for the light version. Sure, there's a paid version, but the light version is like all we really need. So when we are going to the designs, you see there's a couple of mine. Let me actually just start from scratch. So this one was the one that I actually sent out on a just listed. And I'm actually playing around with a new version of it, which is a branded version of me. I really need to take a new picture, but it's been busy, so I'm kind of just using it to run with me here. But I sent this one out, and I sent it to the targeted area. And now the plan is, because it already closed, to send a follow-up mailer. Now, when I do that one, I'm not going to be changing the design a whole lot, just because I want them to pick that second mail piece up and think, I just got one of those, and it catches their interest. So that is the plan on it. But let me go out, and I want to build one from scratch for you guys so you can see it. And if you got questions along the way, just pop them in there and let me know, okay? And I'll get to them. No, sorry. So, and if you feel like I need to talk more, let me know too, because if I start focusing on stuff, I have a tendency to just, start being a little quieter and focus on it. So canva.com, I'm at the home one. So if you type in postcard, it's going to give you a suggestion right here, postcard. So you can just click on it, and it will give you a couple options that you could use. However, for my purposes, I'm just going to use a blank one. Okay, so I'm going to open up a blank one. Here it is. Probably be a good idea to share my screen with you guys. Nobody said anything so far. Love it. All right, let's go back. Let's go back. You don't want to see my screen, guys? No? Okay. All right, let's see. Let me share my screen. All right. So let's start from making sure that you guys can see my screen, make sure that everybody's on the same page here. I build a lot of my design in, there you go, thanks Diane. I build a lot of my design in canva.com. It's 100% free. So you can, get an account there, sign up. It's absolutely phenomenal. So Canva will let you create designs in the most easy way possible. Okay, so no heavy tech, no craziness. So let's see. So if I type in postcard right here, there's a lot of templates that you could choose from too. They actually do have real estate ones, so you could use those. For my purposes, I'm just going to take a blank one right now. So here is my blank template. And I'm gonna go ahead, and you see my recently used one. There's a just sold one, so I was playing around with that one. But for this purpose, I want to go to uploads because I need to grab the property picture. And you can just upload an image or video right here. So we're gonna do would be an image. I already did that, and you can just grab it from your computer. So if we drag it over here, it will be filling up the postcard, kind of like the entire background. Okay, so and I mentioned here's an overlay. So this one is a clear image that I did, and I've been playing around with it. So I want to make sure I like to, see if I can hit them twice with something very similar. I wanted to like catch their eye. I said, if you're just hopping on, just let me know if there's any questions that, are not clear, and I'll try and elaborate on them. So after I just put the, image in, and then that postcard looks a little bit funky on the dimensions. All right. I'm going to have to resize that a little, guys. So we're going to be cutting off some stuff there. All right, so if I am looking at, my postcard, I roughly know my dimensions because the dimension of that postcard mailer here are not quite accurate right now. So I'm going to be resizing it a little bit. But this one is kind of what I have in mind so far. So let's see what other elements we could use. See, there is one. Let's see, we can make this a little bigger. Let's see, we'll make that a little see-through so we can see the property behind it. And then let's get some text. Oh, let's add a heading. All right, so let's see, this one gone in just 9 days. Okay, let's get that one dragged in. And now we're going to work on a little bit on the resizing part of it. We want to make sure that obviously it looks decent. And I said, I've just started experimenting a little bit more with the picture in it that is not really just real estate, because I know it's a little bit more out of the box. I did bring you, well, I did get some of my closed ones too that are more traditional. Let's see if I can show it to you here. So if you look at this one, new neighbor, I said more traditional. I just started playing around with some of the picture ones, with the face ones. So if you look at, a more traditional one, you have those two. And they still convert. So right now, like I said, my testing is more starting to evolve around what happens if I actually put myself in there. Is it going to catch their eyes more? Am I going to not convert as high on it? If you just want to, kind of put a speech bubble there and say, gone in 9 days without you, totally possible too. So let's see. So right here, I think I want to see how this one is going to look on it. So I'm actually going to take a screenshot right now of the size I think I need. And I'm on a Mac, so what's that? If you're on a Mac, it's Shift-Command-4, and you can kind of pick the screen you want to screenshot. If you're on a Mac or on a Microsoft computer, there's something called the snipping tool, and it will let you do the same. So I am going to just go ahead and take a screenshot of that. And we're gonna get to the second part of building that mailer. So, the first is your eye-catching front cover. You want them to pick it up and be like, it catches their eye, it catches their attention. Something about it is drawing them to your mailer. So it's something that you need to figure out and determine. I can't really tell you what works on that. It depends on the kind of property, if there was, something unique about it. I do actually have a it's kind of like a little ebook. It has 25 mailer examples in there that you can just download. It's a free download. And you want to make sure that you have Tani says she can't hear me. Diane, are you still with me? Can you hear me, Diane? Diane always is really good at answering. Anybody else can hear me? Tani says she's having audio issues. Just let me know if anybody else can hear me. I want to make sure you guys can hear me. So, got that. So before we move on to part number 2, we want to make sure that we got people that are able. All right, David can hear me. Tani, you got audio issues. Not good. Try to close out the live and come back to it. Hopefully that should fix it. So part number 2 is going to be in ExpressDocs. Now, ExpressDocs.com is something that is free to use for anybody. Like I said, I'm with Coldwell Banker, so it happens that we have a affiliation with them. So, but ExpressDocs is ExpressDocs.com. ExpressDocs is free for anybody to use, so you can go in there, or if your company has a program that you can use that is letting you design postcards, whatever works there for you guys is something you want to use. So ExpressDocs is where I send my main radius mailers out. So this one is going, I'll make sure I got the right one selected. It got postcard mailer templates in there, and I want to get you some of the features that I put on there. Again, if you would need to build an entire mailer from scratch, from nothing, because you don't have some of that stuff already in there, you can use canva.com and you can design everything in there. Okay, so we'll go over it to the end probably. I'll show you some of that. All right, so my ExpressDocs mailer template, so it's standard mail. It got the EDDM Elite on there for 59 cents. So this one is a just sold one, or just closed. I'm saying just closed because this particular one is in a subdivision, a condo subdivision, and it's been a rental. However, the reason that I am sending one out on that one is the fact that I know there's another one coming up, and I want to go after some of the listings in there. Okay, so that way I figured I got business in there right now in that subdivision. I might as well just use that one. So let's see, that was for One Pine Tree. So I just put the address on there so I remember, and then it just sold. All right, so we're gonna add a picture in, and when I say ExpressDocs.com, free for anybody to use, but when I say some of the templates are already built out, it's the branding here. This one's already branded to the company, and it already has some of the outline, so it tells me I need to upload a picture. So it's really a drag and drop system. So I want to browse, and I'm gonna find the screenshot that I just put on there. There it is. I'm gonna continue. Want to make sure it's high resolution. Okay, I want to make sure it looks good. So it's gonna take a minute to upload it. All right, so this one is right here. Now, I don't know yet how it looks on here, so I want to refresh that to have a look, make sure the dimensions are okay. I've had it before where some of the words, this one looks okay, where some of the words disappeared behind the logo. I had it before where, it just didn't look quite right, but this one looks okay. So you just want to make sure you double check everything. And this one, it's gone quick. 401 Pine Tree Lane, Unit B1, West Schaumburg. All right, so those are the two things that are just going on the front. Let me update that so you can see that. There's really not much to the front. So when it comes to your front mailer, the biggest thing to remember is make sure you're doing something that is catching their attention. Okay, so this one is, if I pick it up, interested in knowing what's going on, I think, notice it. So this one is the front side. So the front, the biggest takeaway here, something that catches their eye, and I'll drop the link in to make sure you guys can see it. Let me see if I can actually, well, I'll do that later. I'll drop the link. I'll probably update the description so you can see it there. It's a 25 mailer example of what catches people's attention, what catches their eye. So hopefully you guys can get some ideas on that one. Okay. All right, so now we are going to work on the back. Okay, so that was the front. Now our back headline, we want it to be something that, draws them in. We want it to be something that they think, oh, I have to read on. So when I say, let's see, your neighborhood is in hot demand. If you live there, you own a property there, and you hear hot demand, the average seller most likely thinks dollar signs. Like, yes, that's good. Yes, that's good. But how good? So that's the part that in this particular mailer I want to try and answer. So let's see. Gone in just 9 days. I actually had one over here where I really liked it. All right. So when your neighborhood is in hot demand, remember my mailer from a few days ago? I promised this one would go quickly. Here's all the typos. All right. Remember my mailer from a few days ago. I promised this one would go quickly. My client just got top dollar for the unit. Find out what this means for the value of your home with a free and instant home value report at www.homeworthcalculator.com. And I'm sure I'm going to see it search in a minute of, what's my HomeWorth calculator one, because I'm kind of driving you guys through it. But HomeWorth calculator is really just what's my HomeWorth website. Okay, so let me actually just take the curiosity out. Homework calculator is just this. Okay, so what's my homework? Really simple, easy, nothing crazy. So once they go here, they can enter their address, they can enter their email, and it generates an automatic report that is just, pulling comps in the surrounding area. And it gives me the email, gives me the address, and I get to follow up with them. That's all homeworkscalculator.com is. It's a domain I bought. And I connected it to my landing page. So that's that. So in case there was a question that was going to come up. All right, so here's kind of what I'm thinking. Remember my mailer from a few days ago? I promised this one would go quickly. So I go back and tell them what I told them I would do and that I actually delivered on that, because it builds credibility on my abilities as a broker, right? My client just got top dollar for the unit. And find out what this means for the value of your home with a free and instant home value report at homeworkscalculator.com. Okay. You don't want to write, tons and tons and tons of stuff there, because you want to get to the point as quickly as you can. So if we update it, let's see how it looks. Just make sure our font's not too small. You want to make sure that, keep in mind who reads your mailers. So my ideal target audience sometimes is a more mature audience, 30s, 40s. I am a glass-wearing person, so just the way it is. So I appreciate things that are easily readable. Not that my eyesight is horrible, but it's, I don't know. For mailers, when people pick it up, it needs to be easily identifiable. So if they start, looking at it and they have to get their specs out to look at it, most often people are kind of turned off by that. So just keep that in mind when you're designing it. All right, so let's go down and generate a final proof. It's going to take a minute here. And we'll talk about all the things that I just put on the back, because regardless of what I put on there, there's a lot of stuff in there that is substantially the same for any mailer, okay? Here is my final proof of the mailer. So we designed the front cover in Canva, okay? So when they get the mailer, it is a good size. It's about, I don't know. Let's see if I got something to measure. Just hold up my phone, but let's do that. So if you see my phone, I mean, it's a decent size. It's not one of those little ones, so it's decent. So you want to have something eye-catching on the front cover. Okay, like I said, I just started experimenting with my own personal face on there that is different from my business page face, because I was told it doesn't look like me. So we'll go with that. See how it converts. I'm still in the testing phases of it. And then the backside, the headline needs to draw them in. Okay. And then look, this is really just a 2-liner, guys. This is, remember my mailer from a few days ago. I promised this one would go quickly. My client just got top dollar for the unit. So there is, I promised them. So I fulfilled my promise, and top dollar. Okay. Now find out what that means for the value of your home. That's our call to action. Now, what's a call to action? A call to action is something that we're prompting them to do. Now, a call to action can be many, many things. A call to action can be, in this case, it is a what's my homework. A call to action can be stop by our open house. A call to action can be download your free guide of some sort. A call to action needs to be something that is letting you create a lead. Okay, so however you do it, if you are putting something on there, and this is where I see the biggest mistake, guys. I'm like, I can't even tell you. Like I said, working personally for a big company, and it's just really mind-boggling that you have them put a listing description on the back, and that's it. There's, I'm like, there's, it doesn't make sense. The neighbors don't want to read the listing description. The neighbors want to know why does it matter to them. Tell it the way it is. Why does it matter to them? Because you're getting the top dollar for the house, and the neighbor should be hiring you because this is what you're good at. A call to action is so, so important on there. Okay. So I really, if you guys are doing your mailers, make sure you put a call to action on there. I've done my call to actions before with open houses. Personally, I like to drive them to some sort of website because I can retarget them regardless of if they took action or not. But I don't want to get into that part right now because it's a total different, topic. But I like websites that I can then just retarget them off of. So if you have a call to action, you want to make sure you drive them to a URL, or you want to drive them to a pixeled website that you can then use to, keep on building that relationship, because at the end of the day, it is a relationship business. Okay, so I think I am pretty happy with this one here. Okay, so your neighborhood is in hot demand, blah, 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 blah. And then it just has my contact information right down here. Janine Sasso, broker. I got my phone number, it got my email, it got my website, it got my team logo, and it has a return address, and then all that, disclaimer stuff that is taking up like an eighth of the page, but is what it is. And then here I did have a banner created for them to put on there that is repeating that call to action. So it's not just on there once, it actually happens to be on there twice. So this way, I'm all good with it. Let's see. Gone. Okay. Okay. All right. I don't know why it doesn't let me. Oh, there. Okay. We got to acknowledge. I forgot to acknowledge. We're going to acknowledge. And now this particular service is actually having a mailing address. So if you're wondering, how do I get addresses? What do I do? I'll walk you through that one real quick. So this one is my order proof, and ExpressDocs has a complete mailing service integrated. Like I said, many of you will have company relationships with something very similar. Ask your broker. If not, ExpressDocs is there that can be used. Use our complete mailing services. Press next. Standard mail. So if you see here quantity of over 50, it's coming out to EDM delete of 59 cents a piece. And I did have a conversation saying, and I think it actually might be on here. I think it was Jenny. Yes, Jenny said that earlier today. And I thought it was really interesting because Jenny is absolutely right. Jenny said that she really doesn't look at mailers. And I tend to agree. I really don't notice them. I didn't notice them. Now I do because my mindset shifted. But I really didn't notice them before either too much because, postcard, mailers, advertisement, don't need it, don't care for it. Now, what I started noticing, though, is when I needed to, I started to think about car insurance, I needed to make a switch. All of a sudden, I started noticing things. I started noticing Geico. I started noticing Allstate. I started noticing USAA in my mailbox. And I'm sure they've been there, but they weren't relevant. So I didn't notice them. So the amount of mailers you do, I can't expect all those people to notice my mailers. It is most likely not relevant to their life. Now, you and I can argue about, is it worth it to do? And I am on the team 100% yes. If I spend $100 on mailers and I get one person out of this one as a lead that I can then convert, if I spend $100 to make 3, 4, 5,000 or more, yes, it's worth it. In my opinion, this is a really amazing ROI that tends to work for me really, really well. So again, we're going to cover a lot of other strategies here. I'm not saying mailers is the only one. It just seems like the easiest one to get started with. Actually, I have a couple event ones coming up, so we're going to be diving into some other strategies that are more event related, more hands-on, that have nothing to do with mailings. But that is, for a few weeks from now. For tonight, like I said, we're going to focus on the mailers right now. But and if you ever have, something that you do want to discuss in detail, pop it in the group, okay? So I definitely would love to see what you guys want to talk about, because the more input I get from you guys, the easier it is for me to just really give you the guidance that I am hoping to give you. So I hope that makes sense. All right, so ExpressDocs, like I said, is having a mailing one. And in this particular instance, I actually decided to go and do the entire subdivision. So it does have, right here, it is this one, the main one was the pool. So normally when I do a just listed or just sold, I normally go about 200 properties around currently. The plan is to eventually grow that. I started with 100, and then from there, now I'm at 200. You always want to look at, can you afford to grow? Because the minute you grow, your business grows. So don't ever be stationary on, oh, I only send 100, or I only send 100. Or I only send 50. Always consider, do I have the budget? I mean, if you're making a lot more money, is it feasible for you to invest a lot more money into your business? Because it should. Your business cannot grow unless your marketing budget grows, most often, sadly enough. Unless you have a really, really, long-term business that you are kind of get to fall back on. I personally... Here's a little side note. Personally, I am in the business since 15, so that's 20. So that's 5 years. So my database is continuously growing, but it's not like, oh my gosh, there's 1,000 people in there that I've done business with. So for me, my marketing budget needs to grow right now because my database is still in the phases of growing. So we're going to be selecting this one. I said I already pulled it. You can pull it various ways through ExpressDocs, and I'm sure other services have something very, very similar to use as well. And then, does that make sense to you guys so far? Are we good? Let me know. I want to know. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. Everything is good. And, we got the same, on the same everything. Or if anything is, any questions, if something doesn't make sense to you, or I don't know, just let me know. I'd love feedback. All right, so this one is all done. And then it's just gonna get me to the checkout page. Okay, so I'm at the last step, which is checkout, which I will do in a minute. All right. Well, I hope this was helpful for some of you guys to just really look at how mailers can be different, put together. So if you have to do it generic, I put a post earlier in the group to try and summarize it a little bit more. But eye-catching, and I'll drop the link in. Let me actually do that right now. So you have the link. It is my sample of 25 high converting farming mailers. So you can grab that one. I'm going to drop it right in here so you have it. So we want to, make sure eye-catching in the front. We want to make sure that you have a headline that draws them in, a story that relates to them, a call to action, and obviously your contact information. Okay, and your call to action, like I said, there's so many different ways to create a call to action. You could actually, one of the ones that I've seen in my own neighborhood that I thought was ingenious because they are a really great list builder, was one where they were collecting email addresses by responses. It was really a good one. So hopefully this helped. And to be honest, I think I may wanna jump in, and if you are, well, I'll do that one later, I think. Yeah, let's do that one later. But if you are just jumping on, feel free to watch the replay. If you have any other questions, drop them in the comment. If you're going back and you want to know more, but this was a brief, quick, and approach on how to build my mailer. I'm gonna go and check out with my mailer now that's sitting there. And any other questions? Always happy to answer those. All right, guys. That's it for tonight, and see you next time.